Real estate investing is one of the most interesting ways to diversify your portfolio. It's the perfect blend of earning passive income, working, and investing into your community. This is why many people are seeking their fortunes and trying their hands at the real estate investment business. However, like with all investments, if you don't know what you're doing, you could easily find yourself stuck in a bad investment and lose money. Losing money is certainly one of the reasons that some people who want to invest in real estate don't, and the fear could cost them tons of potential earnings in the future. That's why today we're going to cover the top 6 strategies that you should learn when you want to invest in real estate. Make sure you stick around till the end of the video to hear all the great tips. Number 6. Buy and sell rental properties. Okay, we know this sounds a bit straightforward, but you can't start investing without actually having a property to buy and sell. That's why the first and most important step in investing in real estate is buying the proper rental properties. Everyone's budget looks different, so it's important to analyze your own to see what works best for you. Understand what you can afford to pay, and realize as well that until you get a tenant for your rental property, you might have to remain responsible for the monthly payments. If you can't keep up the payments without a tenant, you might need to consider getting a partner, a loan, or choosing a cheaper location. You might also need to consider buying properties in areas where people are searching for homes and places to live the most. For instance, growing cities or rural areas where people come to work. Make sure that when you do opt to buy a rental property, you understand the risks and rewards. Obviously, purchasing a rental property comes with some risk, but in this case, it's worth it. Number 5. Reinvest in a rental home. Finding a rental home is an investment all on its own. So when you start deciding to make the leap into real estate investment, one of the first things you need to consider doing is reinvesting in a rental home. If you can't afford a fancy or new rental property, consider reinvesting in an older one or a more broken down one. It would be a cheaper price to pay, and you could use some of the leftover budget to make sure that you can reinvest into the rental property at the end of the day. This is one of the tactics in investment with rental properties, and it will be covered in more detail later in the video. Reinvesting in a rental home may be all you need to do to get started on your investment journey. Plus, reinvesting in a rental home could be an incredibly smart choice, considering that there's a high possibility someone could easily become a tenant in no time. Number 4. Reinvest rental income. Use your rental income to invest in yourself. One of the coolest things that you can do as an investor of rental properties is take the income you make from it and do something else with it. Sure, you can use it to supplement your income, but you could use it for another investment as well. You could use the money you make from the rental homes to buy stocks, bonds, or other kinds of investment products. Then you could triple your money from investing in the perfect stocks, or you could of course lose it, but if you lose income from a rental property, it wouldn't be the worst thing. If you just use the income from your rental homes, then it would be a great way to invest in your portfolio and diversify it. That way, if you lose it all, it wouldn't be the end of the world. You'll make it back next month. Or you'll have invested the rental profit and then emerged with a profit from investing. It's a great plan. By the way, we're on a mission to help people like yourself make billions, so make sure to subscribe if that sounds like you. Number 3. House hacking. If you want to supplement your income with rent, but you can't afford a property at the moment, fear not. House hacking is the perfect way to get around that. House hacking is the same thing as renting out one of the rooms in your house to someone else, or even a garage. It's the same thing as having a roommate, except in this situation, you wouldn't be needing a roommate to allow you to live in the house and make rent. This would strictly be profit-based, and so easy to do. Just make sure that when you decide on a roommate or offer your room to someone who could use it, that you're able to live with that person. Screen them to make sure their lifestyle won't clash with yours, and make sure they'll make their payments on time. It's a great way to start making money as a renter without having to buy a big property just yet. Number 2. Brrr. No, this next tip isn't us implying that you must be freezing cold to invest in real estate. Instead, this is an acronym that stands for buy, remodel, rent, refinance, and repeat. It's a very important strategy for those who wish to get a better grasp of real estate investment and learn how to get it done. This tactic is quite simple at the end of the day, even though it may come off fairly complicated at some points. The first step is to buy the rental property that you not only want, but can afford. In this tactic, however, you want to buy a home that is way under your means, something that you could buy with cash even, because the next part may require more money than anyone ever anticipates: remodeling. This can take tons of time and cost a lot of money if done correctly, but it is an investment. It's not a waste of money to redo a cheap house and turn it into something beautiful. It's a way of making an old home beautiful and something that you can not only be proud of, but sell for profit. So if you are going to remodel, don't cut corners. Don't try to take the easy way out, because you'll probably just end up hurting yourself in the end. Make sure that you truly get a good remodeling done and hire professionals if you can. Once you remodel the home, the hard part is kind of over. Now you can move on to the refinancing part of this equation. Go out and get a new loan to pay off whatever you owe on the rental property that you just purchased. This will give you lower interest rates because you took out a brand new loan no interest has accumulated yet, and allow you to have more money in the long run. With no accumulated interest, it would allow you to make lower monthly payments for any of the payments you're making on your rental home. Once that step is done, you're ready to offer it to tenants. Since it's remodeled, you can price your rent at a much higher price than you would have been able to do before, and from there, you can move on to do it again and again with other properties. Eventually, you will have a ton of properties that you can rent out and use to make a profit of some kind. This will allow you to make a return on your investment with the rental properties, which can of course help you become rich. Number 1, fixing and flipping. So let's say you clicked on this video and you're not even that much into renting properties. Let's say that you want to sell the property entirely and forego the idea of renting and tenants altogether. Not only is that totally fine and normal, it's certainly one of the more common strategies seen with real estate. Sometimes tenants can be bothersome and more trouble than they're worth. After a few bad experiences with some tenants, some prospective real estate investors would much rather stay as far away as they can from that side of real estate. Again, that's fine, but we don't want them to miss out. So this tip can work for those who want to invest in real estate wholesale. It is the practice of simply buying and selling properties. It can become complicated and hard over time, depending on how you do it, but if done correctly, it can become a lucrative money-making investment. Just as we mentioned earlier, the BRRRR method can actually work with buying and selling property, but in this case, you would just be focused on fixing and flipping. You would purchase a broken-down old home, somewhere in a good location or something else that you personally find attractive about the place. You would have to know enough about property to understand whether the home you purchase could actually become a good investment and place to live at the end of the day. Then, you fix up the house and make it livable. Make sure you track the expenses or any loans you have to take out. When you finish remodeling it, sell it for triple its price. That's why it's important to write down any of the costs that you accumulated while remodeling it. If you add those prices to the purchase price of the home and list it for more than that, you would make an outstanding profit. If done correctly, this could eventually become a full-time job. And if you found this video useful, then you'll love these. And make sure to subscribe and leave a comment saying, "I subscribed," and we will personally reply to your comment.